Once upon a time, in a small village nestled among the rolling hills and lush green fields, there lived a man named Raj. He was a hard-working farmer who tended to his crops day in and day out, and despite his simple way of life, he was content with what he had. One day, a wealthy merchant passing through the village stopped to admire Raj's fields, which were bursting with an abundant harvest. The merchant offered to buy the entire crop for a generous sum of money, and Raj, tempted by the promise of wealth, eagerly agreed. As soon as the transaction was complete, Raj's demeanor changed. He began to dress in fine clothes, purchased a grand house in the city, and started spending his money extravagantly. He even bought himself a fancy sports car that he would take for a spin around the village, honking the horn and waving at everyone he passed. But the more he spent, the more he craved, and soon he found that his wealth had become an insatiable hunger that could never be satisfied. He started getting into the habit of checking his bank account every 5 minutes, just in case the money disappeared, but it never did. He began to neglect his fields, hiring others to do the work for him. The crops suffered, and Raj's income dwindled. But he didn't care, because he had money, and he would always have money. Until one day, he received a bill for the upkeep of his sports car, which was more than he had in his bank account. It was then that he realized that he was in trouble. He tried to sell his sports car, but no one was interested. He had to downgrade to a small scooter, which he refused to ride because it didn't make him feel as important. He finally realized the error of his ways when his wife left him and his friends stopped answering his calls. He sold his luxurious house, and with the proceeds, he purchased back his land and began to work it himself once more. It was a humbling experience, but he found that he was content once again. He had learned that true wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the satisfaction of a job well done and the love of family and friends. He even made some new friends with the villagers, who he would often joke around with while tending to his crops. From that day on, Raj lived a simple life, but one filled with the richness of the earth and the warmth of human connections. And though he never again amassed a great fortune, he found that he had everything he needed and was truly happy. He often joked with his new friends, saying that he now had a net worth of about $10 and a scooter, but that was enough for him. The villagers would laugh and tell him that he was the richest man in the village because he had a kind heart and a great sense of humor.